Bam, we're live.
Yes.
I did it.
I was wondering if you were ever going to do that.
I did it very quietly the first go round, and then this time I was like, yeah, no, fuck it. We're going bam, go live.
I feel like that's like a rite of passage because doesn't Sousa start his shows that way too?
I don't know, but I think
the
bam, we're live.
Yeah. Official bam. We're here.
What's up, guys? We jumped on a little early. No worries.
Want to say hi?
Who's Rambler first? Okay, so I have that on this show, but I won't have it on my show. Like, that's fire. I'm good with that. But I'll take it. I'll take the Rambler first. Steven Flores second. Fire. Ali Romeo third. What's up?
Hey.
And Bossman fourth. What's going on?
What's up, guys?
I need to know. I've been like, you guys wanted to do kind of a pre-show chat. So I feel like this is the pre-show chat. Is this the real Matthew?
Like official?
Like the Matthew from Kill Taylor? Because if this is a real Matthew, I would love to have you on my podcast.
Yeah, like let's talk.
And especially for masturbation purposes only. So
the Burpee Dude 27. I'm loving it.
I love it. That's amazing.
69.
Hey guys, what's up?
Always.
We definitely, what else is in here that it is
Officially
listen, DM either one of these IGs that we have up so that we can Matthew for president. How do we Matthew for president, Jose, for sure. How do we I take that?
I got you.
Thank you.
It's down.
Yep. This is a pre-show chat, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So what else is in here? Well, Rambler is always first. Standy Randy. Rambler, why are you always first? Like, what do you click the?
He must have his notifications on and as soon as something is posted.
But what happens when it's like a pop-up podcast, when the podcast just like that's got to be what it is?
Yeah, but remember, you put it up first. Like you did put it up for a little while. And so I'm sure once they get the notifications, they just stay there until the show actually comes on. So
hey, that's like you're solid, bro. Like you're in there. I get it. I'm not mad at it.
Yep.
Thomas Graves, we're gonna get there.
Oh, what's up, Ken? Coach Ken?
Oh, AP coach. What's up, dude?
What's up?
So Biden drops out and Harris goes to, we'll talk about that. We're going to get there. First things first, I would just want to say happy birthday to Papa Birch. Dude, you're the best.
Good old Papa Birch.
We love you. I don't know if you're in here, but,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I know it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yep.
Elise Carter Dow. What's up, girl?
We love Papa Birch. He's awesome.
And then also too, like John Young, bro. Yes. I'm so happy for you, man. Like, and you're having a girl dad.
Yep.
What's up, John Young? Like,
congratulations. I did send him a DM and just said congrats to him and wifey. I do love what Bill Grundler says, because it's absolutely true. We all have this number in mind of how many kids we want to have, like how everything's going to be planned out, how everything is going to happen. And I always was that one that I wanted a huge family. But after you have one,
30-minute pre-notification. That's all you guys need. Yo, y'all are fabulous. You're just fabulous.
But after you have that first one, then I'll see how you feel.
I'm curious to see. Like, look, I am so happy for John Young, and you're going to be a girl dad. And after the conversation that we had with him the last time, you're going to find so much more out about women than you did before you had a girl.
Yep.
So have fun with that. Like, buying tampons for your wife is very different than buying tampons for your daughter.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good time. But dude, I'm so happy for you. And the trying to figure out if you're ready, how many kids you're ready to have. Like, you don't know until you have them. I think I said this on the podcast that we did with Taylor. shit's different when you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different.
Yep.
Like you just become a different person when you have kids. So I'm so excited to see his journey.
You see the world very differently too. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's really good to almost pause and stop and take a breath and kind of see what the world actually looks like. I think that's when you really get out of that mindset of we all go through that. We're invincible when we're young, we're selfish, all of these things, but when you have a kid, the
it's
world
different.
really, really changes. I know it has for you and I a ton.
Definitely for me.
It continues
sure
to
for me,
change.
yeah.
So it's always interesting to kind of have those conversation of how you looked at the world before you had kids and how you look at the world after you have kids, because it's way different.
I'll be excited. I'll be excited to see what he like actually says after those first 3 months. Like I'll be super
Mhm.
excited because right, like as a dad, like I was the parent, like you gave birth to our son.
Yep.
I was the whatever, the dad. You don't really have that initial connection that you think you're gonna have.
Mm-hmm.
You expect this connection and you just it's not there the way that you think that you're gonna have it.
Yeah. Yep.
And it takes a lot of building blocks and a lot of communication and a lot of whatever to get there. But dude, I hope it's fabulous for him. I hope he
I don't know if I've ever asked you that or we've ever talked about this or whatever. Were you surprised that that was kind of your connection at first?
I thought because I was a girl too, or not was, am a girl too,
Uh-huh.
that I would have the same kind of feeling that you do. But
Mhm.
because, I didn't give birth.
Mhm.
I had the other connection. I had the connection of cutting the cord. I had the connection of, um, you know, like being the first person to hold him, being, you know what I mean? I
Mhm.
had that connection.
Mhm.
I didn't have the other connection.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was weird. And then also I don't know what my role is, right?
Yep.
Like for me, it was you are gonna decide what happens to the baby, and I'm just gonna say yes because I kind of don't know.
Yeah.
And I just think that you're the one that makes decisions on where like how the baby's gonna go.
Mhm.
And then as soon as he hit like a year and he was moving and he was attached to me all the time and he and I were rolling and moving, like I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
no, I get to make decisions too."
Mhm.
But it was a mental battle in my head for sure.
Yeah, and I think we were trying to figure it out. I think it was that whole feeling of wanting us both to have a connection with him and not overstepping at the same time. I know that I was the one that, gave birth to him. So you did feel that. And I remember us talking about that, how I didn't know that that's how you felt at first. Cause I thought we were just doing everything as a team, that I never thought for 2 seconds that I would make decisions over you or make them without you, because we're a team. We've always been a team. But we still had to navigate that because things that were important to me, were something that you never thought of, or it was more of a conversation.
Fergie, what's up? John Young will learn the definition of hormonal in due time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, how
For
you
sure.
were
Go ahead. You could tell the truth. You can tell the truth.
It was like my wife wasn't my wife for a second. And I don't know if that's because she had a boy. And I guess boys imprint on women
Mhm.
when they're
Well,
pregnant.
every baby, there's cells left in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, you were definitely, I was like, wait, where's my wife while you were
Yeah.
pregnant? And then it was towards the end that you were like,
Mhm.
yeah, let's go.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
you were, so yeah, he will. Thomas Graves. Oh, you
Okay.
got that one?
Yep. I got you.
Absolutely agree. It's a difficult connection.
Different.
Or it's a different connection, but it's still so amazing. Yeah, for sure. It really was. I enjoyed every second of it.
And then they become teenagers. Yes, Thomas, from two women that have gone through being teenagers, we're sending you so much love and so much support because we are very difficult during those years. So
It's he'll understand. It's definitely not fun.
Yeah.
I think it's a very different scenario between boys being teenagers and girls being teenagers for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Pool boy, is this, wait, what? Is today's show hitting the DEI quota? I don't think so. Maybe. I think we need a little bit more than just us. Next time. But yeah, so happy for him.
Yep.
Loved what Bill Grunler sent to. I absolutely did. You don't know. You wanted 5 kids. And I was like, yo.
Well, when we first met, I wanted 5
like,
because I come from a big family. You know, my mother is one of 8 girls. My father is one of 12. And I only took a breath and took a minute on that because I'm not close to my father's family. They very much were not a part of my life, whereas my mother's family was. And my brother has 5 kids, and I just always felt like,
dude, I definitely didn't.
Well, no, that's from the Kenneth DeLepp had that question. He said weird.
I was like,
he said weird question. Technically, because we're both women, can we technically both? Could we have both breastfed? No.
It's the woman that's actually pregnant. Her breasts make the milk.
Yes.
Mine did not.
And that was very,
Yo, when he did roll over and think that mine were something, I was like, yo, mine are nothing for you. They're not going to do anything.
Yep.
So,
and that was also something that was very important to me, is I wanted to breastfeed him if I could. So him and I, you know, I always say him and I worked it was tough, but we worked as a team to do that. And I did exclusively use just breast milk the entire time. We never used formula or anything like that. But yeah, when I first met you, I was like, I want to have 5 kids. And she's like, not 5, maybe. I think we talked 2 or 3,
2 or
maybe.
3.
And then the journey, some of you that follow us on our own page have heard the story of, you know, how long it took us to get pregnant. And so after that, we kind of changed and decided, and then we had our son, and he's 7 now and all the type of stuff. And we did try a couple years ago. We tried again for an entire year, and I just couldn't get pregnant again. And then this time they wanted to be more invasive, more stuff, more drugs, more injections, that kind of stuff. And for both of us, that's not really how we feel. We don't feel like that's a good mix for us. So we've taken a break, and we've also had conversations on whether or not we want another one. But 7, he's awesome. And
we're pretty happy where we're at.
And you just go with the flow and figure it out if it's something that you really, really want.
Stephen Flores, are you girls in the locker room? I mean, like locker room talk.
What do you want to know? Ask all the questions.
Yeah, ask all the questions.
If you have questions, you guys can ask them.
The questions. I'm not afraid of the questions.
No.
I don't know what you mean by that. But I'll talk about anything like this. Mike Poolboy, are you guys still 5-star lesbians? Well, my wife was never a 5-star lesbian. We covered that. I definitely am. Thank you. And that's for Chat Appreciation Day, which is next Sunday, homies. So, but yeah. All right. Let's, unless there's anything else we want to, your girlfriend breastfeeds you. So me answering that question, Pool Boy, means that I'm in locker room talk and I don't care. Kenneth DeLapp, locker room group chat. No, I'm not in the locker room group chat. No, I said I was okay with not being in that. So we're good. All right. What's up first? What's up first is, since we're already on the topic of John Young, we had John Young on the show last week, and we talked about religion a little bit.
A lot of it.
The one thing that caught me, and I just couldn't not think about it, was where he asked me if I thought I had, like, being a lesbian is a sin. Right? Because if it is being a sin, then I'm trying to be the best wife, the best mother, the best person that I can be to make up for the sin of being a lesbian. Or it's, I don't believe that I'm sinning, so I'm just doing what a good Christian would do, which is obey the covenants that God gave me, right? Be a good wife, don't cheat, make sure that my kid is okay. Don't do anything against God's commandments for kids, stuff like that. But it's a difficult question, but if you go back and figure out what that question means, that question basically just means, were you born gay? Or do you feel like some sort of like your environment made you gay? And so you're choosing to sin. Right. So that to me was a difficult question because I also like we talked to Jana and whatnot, and she believes that she's a lesbian because something happened to her at a young age.
That is a lot of the conversation.
I've always believed I was born gay, but also now I'm willing to go back and forth in my head with different beliefs and different conversations and trying to figure out what I really think. So that question, I think that's the question that he was really proposing without proposing that question. I don't know. What do you think? Also for these type of conversations, HGR CBD.
We appreciate you. I don't know. I think, well, I mean, if you want to base it on my journey, it would be I was not born gay. And it would have been considered environmental or later figured out or whatever. I don't know. I think that's a tough one because you do hear stories about, people that have been sexually traumatized, that is one way that they gain back their control. They try to get us, we've talked about this before, try to get us far away from that type of situation. And usually it's with the opposite sex. So
good question. We'll get to that in a second. That's a really good question.
Then you have people that experience, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, it is. It's either like nothing happened to you and you're gay, or something happened to you and then you realized you were gay, or it's like if people want to play with how did you figure out you were gay? And I don't know. I feel like the coming out stories for everybody is different.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I have a tough story. Like I had trauma as a kid for a lot of years. And then it just kind of, my childhood after that was fine. So, I don't know. I can't say because I had the trauma and then afterwards, because my childhood was fine. Like my grandparents were amazing.
Right.
My life, like, yeah, I was still struggling from the trauma, but I wasn't questioning my sexuality because of the trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so hard to actualize, like to really, like I need way more than 5 days to think about it.
But I also think that it's hard to ask that question because you do have women that have gone through trauma that again are now gay, or men, vice versa. But then you also have men and women that didn't experience trauma and they're still gay.
Yeah.
So it really depends on what kind of narrative you want to talk about it. And also too, how important is it for you to answer that question? Because I think that when we are trying to figure something out that just is, I think that, someone said it, I think Pool Boy might have said it or whatever, like, it doesn't mean that we're wrong and we have to torment ourselves to try to figure out what that answer is. I think it's a cool conversation and also something to think about. Again, we're in this whole process of,
So I want to go back to this. Talk about religion. Oh wait, no, that wasn't. You asked something else.
Yeah, it's right here. I got it.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Well, hold on, real quick. Hello, Mr. Self.
Taylor Self. We're gonna talk about that guy. Yeah, we're gonna get there, dude. That's why I labeled the show the way that I labeled the show.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Well, hold on. Keeping It Real said this first.
I think it's cool you can actually think about this, but I think the distinction John was making was proclivity versus acting on the proclivity. Most Christians I know believe that gay people are born gay. Sure, I agree with that. But it's if I think it's a sin or if I don't think it's a sin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm going to have to sit and think about. Do I think that being gay is a sin and I'm trying to make up for it by doing all of the things that God told me or the covenant told me or when I absolutely believe that when I got married and my rings got put in that book and our rings were blessed and we said those words, I believe the covenant that I made.
Yes.
So do I believe that I'm following the covenant because I'm a sinner? Or do I believe I'm following the covenant because I believe in God? And that's exactly just how God made me. God made me to love women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's something that is worth talking about and it's something that is worth thinking about. And I can't say I know.
Yeah. Well, also John made a really good point too.
We're already forgiven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was the thing for me that hit me the hardest.
Yeah. And so there's that part to me, which you and I talked about this afterwards, is that sometimes I think it's difficult to understand exactly because it sounds so contradictory.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a sin, but you're forgiven because you're exactly who you're supposed to be, but it's still
yeah,
it's
so murky.
So I think for some people it's difficult to follow that, where they might just choose, well, instead of trying to figure out, like you said, the murky water of it, I can just say that, like,
God is pansexual, dude. It's God's day. Go to church or something. I don't know. No, I don't know. He might be. Sure.
But the other thing that was very interesting for me was, and this is a good conversation too, of following the word exactly how it's written versus how John called them the messengers, or motivational speakers, because not everybody can follow the word precisely or is able to or wants to follow the word precisely. But the message, kind of what you're saying, the message of, or his message of, being a good partner, don't cheat, don't steal, don't hurt other people, all of that type of stuff. Like, someone can believe that. I believe without
absolutely.
I believe our vows.
Yes.
I absolutely believe in our vows, and our love and the commitment that we made to each other. But I don't have faith. So I think that there is
I think it's what we always talk about. And I think that's what we asked John. Without believing the same things, can we come to a place of agreement when it comes to our morals?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to our active morals, can we believe and follow the same standards?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then I would say, who's it up to? If I believe that God made me the exact way that he meant to make me, then I don't believe that I'm sinning.
Isn't that the message though?
But what I'm saying is for people to get mad at us and for John to think that I'm sinning and that he's going to pray for me.
Yeah.
Then he believes that God didn't make me the way that I am.
That's what I was going to say.
Either way.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right.
You can, whatever you believe is what you believe. And I believe that he loves us and cares for us enough to want us to be in heaven with him at some point.
Yeah. And have conversations.
Right. But also he believes that I'm going to have to pray a lot and do a lot of good works and whatever to make it to heaven. Whereas I believe God made me exactly in his image, exactly the way that he wanted me to. And I'm following God's word and being the best person that I can be.
Yeah.
So
right.
I'll meet you in heaven.
Right.
I don't want to lose this one because I like this one a lot. CrossFit. Does Does figured out mean born and not realized? Yes. You're born gay, and I get it. Like, we kind of always say that we realize we're gay later.
I always said that I was late.
Yeah.
I came out late. I always say that.
I came out late too, if you want to go down that road.
But I almost wonder, like, did we come out late because the group that we hung around with just came out much earlier? Like, that was for me. Like, I came out late because
I don't even think that. Okay, so all right, here, let's go into this cross-fat. So Megan Rapinoe, or whatever her name is, the soccer player with the purple hair or whatever, she said something recently like, we're all not safe until everybody's out. And what do you mean out? Like, it's like everybody has to declare their sexuality immediately. How do you do? You don't know that. How do you do that? That's not. So then I would say, like, hey, Megan Rapinoe, do straight people want their parents to know at 15, 16 what they're experimenting with sexually? Probably not. I don't think they're running to tell their parents that they touched a penis for the first time. You know what I mean? Like, realized or born, you're born whatever you are. Realized is how you come to that, I feel like. And it's just, you don't, no kid at 15, 16 is running to tell their parents what they experimented with sexually, whether they found a Playboy, whether they looked something up on YouTube, whether they touched something for the first time, whether they, like, no one is trying to do that. No, you've never heard of a straight girl that had sex early and got pregnant as a teenager in high school run to their parents because they wanted to tell their parents that they're pregnant in high school. Never, not once. So the gay community wants us to just be able to be out and show our sexuality everywhere. And it's like, at 15, you want us to do that? I don't want to do that now. I don't want to tell you what I'm doing now. Whatever I'm doing, I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, at 40 something, I'm like, okay, I don't mind sharing, whatever. But 15, 20, what happens when you make them, like, for all the dudes out there, what happens when you freaking make a mistake and you come too fast? Are you running to tell the world that? Like, are you running to tell what is happening? Like, I don't need to be out.
I just started singing Missy Elliott's Minuteman.
Yeah, it's not. That is definitely not something that, like, you. So yes, you figure out what you are, but also you're not running to be out. It's not that.
I think I mean, this might be a good perspective, I guess. You know, I struggled with coming out. It was very late when I came out. And if you guys don't already know, like, before Garrett, there was only one. I've only been with one woman before her. And her and I are almost about to celebrate our 12-year wedding anniversary. But when I started to realize that I was gay, and I had a very hard time coming out. And I had a hard time coming out because there was fear around that. There was fear around my job that I had, my family, not being accepted, and all of these type of things. And it was almost like I was living a double life. The friends that I had gotten around and the ex-girlfriend that I was with, everybody was out, everybody was welcoming, everybody was supportive. But on the other side, I had the fear of what was going to happen if I came out, when I came out, if I wanted to come out, what was happening, because it was a brand new feeling that I'd never had before. Then when I came out, then when I was out, and we joked that it took me a long time to say that I was gay, even when we were married.
You did not say you were gay until like 3 years into our marriage.
You keep changing the number of years.
Yeah, whatever. It was forever. It wasn't, you weren't out when we were married.
But okay, maybe I didn't say I was gay, but I always said you were my wife. I always said you were my girlfriend. And it was very important for me, for people to know that you were my wife, that
but also,
you are
there
my
were no
wife.
labels. We didn't do labels then. Now everybody wants to put you in a label.
Well, that was for you. You always talk about there wasn't a label. When I started hanging out with this group, you had to have a label. Like you literally had to do exactly what they're doing right now. Hi, my name is Colleen and I'm gay. That's literally what I needed to say.
Yeah.
Even though I was figuring out who I was and what was happening because I had never had feelings like that. But my point being is that when I came out finally, I was that one that everybody needed to know. Like everybody needed to know that you were my wife. I wanted to hold your hand. I wanted to be open and out and proud and with you. You are my wife. And what I'm realizing with hearing that now from other people is for me, the narrative has changed that not everybody needs to know, but the important people need to know. People that care, people that want to care, people that I care about, that want to be in our space and want to be in our circle. So when we have people that would ask us when we first had our kid, what does he call you? What does to both of us?
Mommy and the other mommy.
This mommy and the other mommy. That's literally what he calls us. But it used to bother me when people would ask that because it's people that I didn't know and people that I didn't care. And I just expected them to know. Now I've changed my mind around this whole idea that not everybody needs to know, but the important people in our life need to know. And I think that that's where the conversation and the narrative is changing. I don't know about for you, but for me, it's not everybody needs to know. If people are interested and kind enough and want to know and respect that, I'm cool with that. But I don't need to walk up to every single person and say, hi, my name is Colleen and I'm gay. And they say, no, you're not. And then I lose my shit. I also don't need to feel that either.
It's a little different for me because if I don't explain that I'm a lesbian, people just think I'm a dude. But like, yeah, I would, if I had a choice, I would rather not lead with who I'm fucking. You know what I mean? Like I would rather not that be my moniker.
Right.
Might be God's love is unlimited. It's only human ego, interpretation and translations that makes it anything less than perfect and for everyone. I love this so much because I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree that the Bible was written by men and that flaws are by men and that not men, but humans, like just in general.
Yeah.
And so I think that's half of the reason why we all pick and choose what we want to see in the Bible. We all see it a different way. We all want to interpret it a different way. It's fine. Just for me, it would be really nice if the way that we interpret it didn't mean that we had to hurt other people.
Yeah. And I said that with John. I think also too, that the reason why religion is very difficult for some people is because it's usually weaponized.
Yeah.
It's usually weaponized towards the other person to tell them that they're unworthy of happiness, that they're unworthy of life.
The real Matthew, dude, I'm so excited you're on the show. A lot of guys and girls from high school came out years later. It was kind of like, yeah, dude, no shit. And to me seemed like a huge weight taken off what we already knew. Yeah, that was my grandparents. I came out to my grandparents and they're like, yeah, we know, pass the peas. So I don't, I think it was a really big thing. And I think we're still harping on the 60s, 70s, 80s, like mid to late 90s and how it was back then. And I think it's tough. And yeah, we kind of already knew it. And if you guys were friends in high school and hanging out in high school, you didn't fucking care. You didn't care that somebody was gay. You just didn't. It wasn't a thing. Like not in the 90s. Like we were just like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Everybody looked at me like, yeah, we knew. Duh. Yeah. Like it was fine.
Yep.
But it comes to me with the whole like, all right, let's roll to the what are we doing? Shooter McGavin, if you know, you know. Yeah, for real, Kenneth. Wow, it's really Matthew. We are in the presence of greatness for real. For sure. For real. I wanted to get into like we were talking about it and how like, if you get name called and you get pissed off because you get name called. And I just think there's a slur out there for everybody. And slurs are always going to be used no matter where you are or what you're doing. And what happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Like it seems like that went away. And so now no matter what you call anybody, you can call them the littlest thing. you could be like shoe fly shoe, and they'll be like, oh my God, you called me an animal that I'm not. What do you talk like? It just, to me, it's so insane now. If I got incensed every day over what people gender, like, call me like sir, I get called sir 85 times a day. Whatever. If I got mad over that, I'd be mad all fucking day.
Yeah.
I can't be mad all day. So what?
Mhm.
So you see me as that. So what?
But that's taking personal
I
accountability.
don't care.
And that's taking personal responsibility of who you are and how you want to be. You know, we're in a world where other people's opinions matter more than our own opinions of ourselves. We're waiting for validation. We're posting things for validation. If we don't get enough likes, if we don't get enough attention, if we're not told the right things, if we're not told that we're beautiful, all of these things, if these words are not said and we don't get the instant gratification that we expect that we're supposed to get, because that's the world that we live in, then what we're saying is that our own values, our own personal values, are not enough. And coming from a person that lived that everyday upset, everyday triggered, needing validation because I didn't love who I was, I didn't actually do the work and learn the tools and take a moment to be grateful and to love who I actually am. And when you don't give that to someone, or you don't help someone find that, you don't give tools or direction for that, that's what happens. I needed validation from everybody. I needed validation from my partners. I mean, that's why I got into all of the fucked up relationships I had before I got with you. Was
Yep.
because I needed to be wanted by somebody. I needed to be, that's where I was going to get my validation from, because of my own shit that I had been through, that I didn't do my work to find ways to love myself again. So when you have that, yes, Jonathan Ortega.
Hey, Jonathan Ortega,
I need my likes, damn it.
you gave me all of my wants and needs today. So you are the first man that has ever given me his phone number when I asked for it in my entire life. So when I slid into your DMs and asked for your phone number, thanks, bro. Appreciate you. Sexiest dude I know.
It's the stash.
It is.
It's the stash.
No, but what I was gonna say to that, what you were saying is right. So, like, when you see somebody like Amber Rose, right? She is now, like, she's at the RNC, she's talking, she's for Trump, right? She's like, yo, I love my women values. I'm still gonna, like, do my women shit, but I think Trump is the best president for me. And the right, the conservatives, are like, fuck Amber Rose. Why do you have Amber Rose up there? Why is she was the biggest mouth for the left, and now biggest mouth for the left. Now she's up on the right. Now she's giving the hawk to it to the right, right? Don't let her up there. It's like, guys, you have to give us a second to change. We're not going to change immediately, and we're not going to figure it all out immediately. Give us some room to figure out that, hey, yo, we were wrong. Like, what I thought about Trump 4 years ago was wrong. I didn't listen to all of the clips. I didn't listen to the clips to its entirety. Now I have, and now I understand what he was saying. Even the 2025 project that they're trying to make us all be afraid of. Okay, so yes, JD Vance is probably, I think he's attached to the Heritage Foundation or whatever it is in some way, but Trump's not. And Trump hasn't said anything about it. He hasn't said anything about gay marriage. He hasn't given a shit about it. And he didn't give a shit about it the last time he was president. The only thing he did about abortion, which is another topic, which we'll cover, but he wants to leave it to states' rights. He's not trying to make it so the only people that can have abortions are, like, people who have been violated, or, like, the life of the mother. That's not what he's trying to do. He's not signed his name to that. And in fact, he's even said his name is not on the Project 2025. So to me, it's just fear mongering. And it just has the left is using the wording to make it seem like all gay people are going to be screwed up, all trans people are going to be screwed up, all African Americans are going to be screwed up, and it's going to be horrible. John Young, I love you guys, just saying. And I also called you ma'am, just saying. You did. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I also, okay, fine. You can say that maybe you were wrong because you didn't really pay attention and you kind of checked off all the boxes that we were supposed to check off. We talk about that all the time about like, you check those boxes. You're mixed, you're gay, you look like a boy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah,
I should
blah,
be trans,
whatever.
blah, 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 blah.
So, and you're supposed to check all those boxes. So normally what happens is that when you check all those boxes, you tend to also check said boxes that go with those, and 4 years ago, okay, maybe you didn't do your due diligence the same way that you're doing it now. But I also think that there's a little bit of grace in that too, is that we did what we felt like was right. And we did what we felt like was best for us at the time, keeping our marriage, that kind of stuff, whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Give us a minute.
I also think that, do you think it's more taboo that it's the changing of the minds that's more frustrating to people, or the just extreme to some people, the extreme of going from one side to the other? Because as you're changing your mind, what's happening is, for me, I'm just asking more questions.
Yeah.
I'm simply asking more questions. And I'm also saying, okay, this makes sense to me, but this doesn't make sense to me. Or this portion of it makes sense to me, but the rest of it doesn't make sense to me. So is it more of the asking the questions, or is it the extremes that just say, fuck it, I'm just going to go to the other side?
I think people are just asking questions at this point. The real Matthew, you have to give space for fucking up to a degree. It's called learning. Yeah.
Right?
I feel like that's it. And I feel like most kids, Jonathan Ortega, she's mixed, she's gay, doesn't have a penis, but somehow has more big dick energy than most kids. And that's why I have your phone number. Yeah, in your 20s, you kind of don't care. Right? It's whatever is going to make your life the easiest. Like, that's how it is. Hey, is the government going to give me money? Cool. Are you going to pay for my, tuition and my housing and my whatever? Cool. I'm voting for that, blah, blah, blah. But as you get older and you want things, right? Like, you want to buy a car, you want to have good credit, you want to own a home,
right?
You want your kid to have
all of the things that they tell us that we want.
Like, the two sides don't match. You can't get that with the liberals the way that you can with the conservatives. You can't. And it's like, if the only thing that conservatives are telling me is that, the scariest thing, right? The scariest thing for us is there won't be federal marriage for gay people. Like, that won't be recognized federally. That's the thing. Like, all gay rights are going to be taken away. Blah, blah, blah. If I had to choose between that and it being possible for my kid to get taken away from me because I won't take him to get his dick cut off, fine, we're not married federally. Like, I don't care. Like, that's not a risk for me. That's not a body part. That's not something that's irreversible to me. So you can go on this scare me all you want, but it doesn't scare me. Like, it really doesn't. Because I'm going to protect kids. I'm not. It's fine. I don't need to be federally married. I can be married in New York State, because obviously that's never going to go away, because New York State's never not going to be liberal. But like, if the federal government doesn't want to recognize our marriage, like, fine, as long as they can't take our kid away.
Well, that's the thing. And when you first hear that, I was like, well, I don't want to lose my marriage. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to lose my marriage to you. We've been married almost 12 years. Like, and then my next questions after that is like, well, can they make us not be together? No. Well, can they force me to change my name? No. Like,
David Marcella, do I need to care that someone is trans? think you need to care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a matter of like how you, I don't think you need to care. I don't think it's I don't think that you need to care that I'm gay. I don't think you need to care that I'm actually a girl or that like who carried my kid. Like, no, I don't think you need to care
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Oh, it won't come down.
Yeah, it won't come down. JD Vance is kind of kooky about incest and great. I need to know more. I know he's attached somehow to the 2025 agenda. I need to look more into that, but from what I can tell, Trump's not attached to it. Maybe he attached it to himself now that his running mate is JD Vance, but he's never, in my knowledge, said anything to where he cares about anything that's on that. So I like it, nothing has been cross that. Can I be in the middle and lean to one conservative? Feels like that's bad now. Can you be in the middle and kind
And
of
lean a little bit more conservative?
That's what we are. I mean, I don't know if that's okay or not. I kind of don't care at this point, but that's what we do. We're kind of in the middle and we lean a little bit more to the right. Treat and real Matthew. I'm liking you more and more, dude. Treat individuals like human beings and don't have to care what they are. Yeah, for sure. Right. Like, I just respect you for being a human being. And as long as you respect me for that, I feel like we'll get along great. We don't have to have like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's fine.
But that's where it's feeling like it's not that way though, where it is you have to believe all of one side or you have to believe all of the other side because you can't be in the middle.
Pool boy, people are tribalistic with politics. Yes, they never seek out information and simply get their news from clickbait headlines. Yeah, for sure. It's really funny. I just watched so I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for Charlemagne and Andrew Schultz, their podcast together, to come out on Brilliant Idiots about the Trump assassination attempt. And it's super funny to me because when it came out, it's literally just Charlemagne. And I was so disappointed. It was literally nothing but a liberal fest of whatever without Schultz there to kind of be that second voice. And it kind of sucks. Like the same way that like when Taylor was on and I was kind of asking like, hey, I don't get this. What is this? And he could tell me. Ooh, give me your water for a second. Yeah. It kind of sucked. It was just liberal. Sorry.
Yeah, it just feels like you can't have conversations. You know, like I was saying before, you either have to check everything on one side or check everything on the other side. And what it's seeming like is, you know, we are lucky enough to have people that are willing to have conversations with us and not look at me or not start yelling at me. I should say that. That's okay if you look at me and you're like, okay, girl, where are you getting your information from? Or why do you feel like this? But I have to say, honestly, we've gotten more of that response of, okay, ooh, like I want to know. I want to know where you were and where you are now and where you think you would be going or why do you think this way? Explain it to me. Like when we had Taylor on the show and I said that I don't agree with everything, he immediately was like what? And I said this blanket abortion law. We're saying that like, you know, women can't have abortions. You have to carry these babies to term. Every situation is the same. I don't personally believe that. I believe that it's a situational thing. I think each woman's body, you don't know what they've been through. You don't know where they are at. So I don't believe it should be a blanket statement. I believe it should be a person by person. You know,
he agreed with us that it was a gray area.
There's a lot of topics that are gray areas. And the problem is if you want to make it a blanket general statement, we talk about this, everything is generalized. Every single thing is put in a general statement. And that's why for me, when they started talking about these parents getting their rights taken away because of this ideology push or whatever, that's when I, as a parent, have every right to say I am fearful now that these generalized rules are going to be put in place by the government and made into laws, that it's possible that my kid could be taken away from me because you want to make a blanket statement instead of this whole idea that there are steps for each thing.
The hardest, sorry, I'm getting it back.
Yeah.
The hardest part for me about the abortion conversation that we had, because we touched on, and I think it's very important, we touched on how dads feel about abortions,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, what if the mom wants to have an abortion and a dad doesn't? There's so many nuances to it that no one's going to completely agree on the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of what's best for you. The problem for me is, and I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to be a hot take for me because I probably haven't said this out loud. Have we not made it? Have we stopped teaching sex to women and what the consequences are to that? Right? Like, pregnancy is a consequence for us having sex. Right? It's not a consequence to men.
Mm-hmm.
It's a consequence to us.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh baby, you don't have to worry about it. If you have sex and you get pregnant, we can just take that away. No big deal. You don't have to worry about that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about the women who have been raped. I'm not talking about incest. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just saying we're not teaching teenage girls and 20-year-old girls what it means and what the implications are.
Mm-hmm.
Shit,
Helping.
sorry.
To have a stricter abortion laws in place, we would need to lift up adoption, fostering healthcare systems that give expectant mothers put into that spot to see a tomorrow where they could have a child.
Let's read that again. To have yeah, I get that. I used to always say as a liberal, like, if I can't afford this baby and I'm out here in these streets, then the government needs to pay for this baby. Pay for my health care, pay for my... That's why men can't have a say, because who's raising this baby? Because all men are going to be gone if a woman's pregnant. I don't agree with that anymore, obviously. I don't know. Abortion's a hard topic.
Yeah,
I
kind
wish...
of what Thomas Graves says.
Yeah.
Every subject has multiple lanes. And I think that that's more of what
you were saying is it's a
yeah.
case-to-case basis.
It's a case-to-case basis, and it's a couple-to-couple basis too, because, you know, if I'm not talking about...
Maybe Ken, sorry, I'm having personal technical difficulties right now, but I'll be good in a minute.
I'm talking about consensual. This is consensual. You know, two people consent to having unprotected sex, and in the result of that, a baby was created. So therefore, it is up, or it should be, the right of both of them to have a say in what happens. But also, I don't know how many people you could turn around and say that a girl needs to go through with a pregnancy that she doesn't want. There's that argument too. Who am I to say that she needs to carry a baby all the way to term if she doesn't want to?
Yeah, it's hard.
And then also, if you do have a father that's like, I want this baby, you know, that's my point. I'm not saying that it's a blanket statement, and I'm not saying that other people that are not involved in the actual situation need to have a say in what's going on.
The problem is that the phrase "force a woman" force a woman to have an abortion, force a woman to have sex, force a woman to, that's what it would be like. No matter what, if a man tries to force a woman to do something, and I get that.
Yes.
Like, I understand that, and I understand that verbiage. Part of me doesn't think it's fair to men who went into having, but then again, like, do we, men like to joke about it all the time. When you're 16, 17, 20, 25, do you understand the ramifications of having unprotected sex? I'd love to hear from the men.
Well, the thing is I also believe that part of it is that, and I'll just make a general statement too, is that not every parent talks to their kids about sex. I never had the sex talk, not with either one of my parents. I never got that. My father was just, don't do it. That's literally what my dad said.
Thanks, Kenneth. Does it come down to just morals and ethics? I think so. I think it's how you're brought up. And if, I don't know which way is the best. I'm just saying it's the abortion topic is it's very gray. It's very, very gray.
Mhm.
I also think that it, like you said, it's case by case.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is too. And that's all I'm saying. And that's why I was asking,
I do want to explore this though. Yeah, you're right, Kenneth. I didn't have my voice at the time, but you never understand the ramification until the issue arises. Stephen Flores. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that too. For both men and for women. But I guess what I'm asking is, as adults and as parents and whatever, do we not tell them enough? Do we tell them too much? Do we give them too much leeway when it comes to abortion? Do we, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't think ramming the Bible down their throat and they're going to hell forever and ever and ever because they made a mistake is the right option, but also is the right option, God loves you and we can work this out and this baby can be adopted? Is it like, I don't know, but part of me now feels really bad for the men that want their kids and then they don't get to have them.
mhm.
Even if you're having protected sex, sorry, Sarah, even if you're having protected sex, birth control can fail and a woman shouldn't ever be forced to have that baby if they don't want it. And we're actively trying to prevent having one. Fair. But again,
Agree.
another nuance.
Agree.
Another nuance to the scenario where you and your partner or just you were
Yeah,
doing the responsible thing.
absolutely.
Fair.
Agree.
I
Yeah.
get it. Look, I'm just saying it's very gray. And that's why it's a hard subject for this political climate right now.
Mhm.
It's tough.
Mhm.
Mooney, girl, I was forced to have an
I
abortion.
know.
Girl, I
But no.
know.
Yep.
A girl I know was forced to have an abortion by her boyfriend. When she told me the story, she said, I killed my own baby and I'm going to burn. Something to think about for all pro-abortionists.
I don't know. I don't know how that must feel. I can't imagine how that could
I agree.
feel.
I
I just I think that, and we talked about this on one of our own podcasts or whatever, is I think that we do the best that we can when we know a little bit more. You know, at the end of the day, you and I talk about, we talked about this in a picture of like construction. Like what they do is they put up signs far enough back where you know that it's coming. You know that something is going to happen. And I think that all we can do is share what we can. But at the end of the day, choices are made, situations happen, experiences happen, and there's an outcome for all of it. And I think that we do the best that we can, especially as parents. And I think that we also say too that when you become a parent, like the world really changes, the view of the world really changes because we know we're raising a man and we're going to do everything that we can. And that's why we are very adamant about having conversations like this and conversations with men and women about the world, because we want to give our kid everything that we possibly can. But at the end of the day, when he becomes an adult, he's going to make his own decisions. And what I'm saying is that every person makes choices and there's outcomes for those choices, and putting these blanket statements over everything and saying that this is the end all be all, it has to be just this way and only this way, I think is where mine and yours, thoughts have changed, because I also don't want to be told a blanket statement that I have to.
Yeah, telling me I'm a horrible parent because I won't get my kids gender affirmed at 10, as opposed to a parent that drinks all day, beats their kid, and when their kid comes home and says they're gay, throws them out on the fucking street with nothing when they're 12. You know what I mean? Like, different.
Yeah.
Different. And don't lump me in with that, because that's not what we are. So
I think this is important to talk about too.
Yeah, I want to get to helpings too.
Yep. Thomas Graves, as a father of 2 daughters, I teach the Bible to my daughters. I also teach to them that it's about personal accountability. You must be responsible for your decisions and think before you make them. And I think that that is something that we've talked about a lot and we've realized a lot, is that what we see is no accountability, is no responsibility. You can't give responsibility to your kids. You can't give boundaries to your kids, because then you're being too hard of a parent.
Do you even have respect for sex? I don't even think that there's respect for sex anymore. Like there was a healthy respect for what could happen to you in the 90s if you went and had sex. There was AIDS, there was every other STD, like, you know, some of them were like luggage. You don't get rid of them. There was, you know, getting pregnant. There was being forced to have an abortion. Like there was a whole bunch of things, like men didn't it. There was a million things.
It's information,
but
and then the choices that are made.
There was a healthy respect for sex back then. There's not one now. And it's just, it's like, do these kids even know what can happen to them?
Well, I think it goes back to what I was saying before, is
having sex isn't a little thing. It's not like
No.
listening to, you know, I mean, my bad. I listened to a lot of like crazy music when I was a kid. I kind of listened to what I used to listen to when I was a kid. I was like, ooh,
yep,
that's bad.
Yeah.
The electric slide's about a vibrator. So like,
how old were you?
like,
how old were you
when you
found
that
out? I think I found out like a year ago.
And
honestly,
I was rocking to the electric slide, and
they played those songs at kids events.
And we got our kids rocking to them.
Yep.
But yeah, it's crazy. I didn't helping. I'm pro-life, but that shouldn't stop in the womb. Pro-lifers focus so much on that piece with no long-term forethought, and being pro-life from birth 100% or 100 plus. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not personally pro-life. I think we can meet in the middle somewhere about this. I don't know where yet. I haven't gotten there yet. But hey, you want to talk about pro-life someday, we can talk about that too. I'm all about that. I don't know how to answer that right now.
Yeah, because also this too, Sarah, also, like, imagine the social, emotional, and physical trauma giving a baby up for adoption. That would be so hard. These having
versus having
the safe and private option of ending a pregnancy before people know.
Nuance, fair, but then how do you like rationalize the kids have no way to go and they just give birth at prom and throw their kid in the dumpster? Or like abortion is so hard, and I'm just now trying to start to talk about it. So like, again, helping, I'm sorry I wasn't able to answer that one as thoughtfully as, because I also am trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
like I'm just trying to get out of being absolutely like fuck all pro-lifers, because that's what I was before. That's what I was taught. Matt Souza, all depends on on the decision being made and weighing out the consequences and the impact on all parties involved while highly prioritizing women. I would ask, I get that. Do you think that the prioritization of the woman is too much? I would be curious to that. I mean, not like if my wife is like, save my wife for the baby, I'm gonna be like, save my wife, please. You know what I mean? Or like my kid is raped and she's like, whatever we have to do, we have to do. I don't know what we have to do, but we'll figure it out in that moment. Whatever. But like, is it too much? She's 18, she got pregnant, she had a baby, or she's pregnant. Do we just is there like a past situation? I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know.
That's why it's
This is so tough.
I think, yeah, and that's why.
And then what do men think? Like, guys, please tell us what you think. Like, if you had a girlfriend and you got her pregnant, but you were ready, like you wanted that baby, what are you doing in that moment? You know what I mean? Like, how are you feeling? What are you doing? We don't know what you guys think either. So maybe if some of these women knew what these men that they actually wanted their baby, instead of just saying, "Oh, hey, it's whatever you want, darling." Like, maybe that's different. I don't know. I don't know. These are all just scenarios, but I'm trying to figure it out too.
Yeah. And that's what Halpin's saying. He said no answer expected at all. Same. We're all just trying to figure out a path. I lean more middle generally, but focus on my family with a teen son and daughter to talk about these things and what they mean. And I think that that's the most important part is having the conversations. And I don't know if there is a right or wrong answer to most things, because I think, again, I know I've said this a million times, but it's situational and it is individualized to the situation that is happening.
But I wonder, like they always say for women, right? They always say for women, if we don't have a kid by the time we're 40, we're gonna regret it. It's a thing for women. You haven't.
Oh, here, Susan answered you.
Matt Souza, no, because she's the most medically invested, therefore the primary individual affected. Okay, fair. So she has the final say, is what you're saying.
And I think that that's a fair statement too.
Okay.
I'm not saying that
if there's a medical emergency, is that what he said? If there's a
most
medically invested. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Fine. Fair.
Yep.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
What I was just saying is like, if we don't, like everybody thinks that we're not going to be like, women won't be fully like, we won't have gotten to do everything that women should do, but like by being pregnant, whatever. And if we don't do it and we don't have kids, we're not going to be fulfilled. Is it possible for that to be the same for men? Like if men get to a certain age and they don't have their children.
Focusing on the women isn't too much, is what Souza was saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's, I just wanted to know, like, what's the difference between the man's decision making and the women's decision making? And that's fair. I get it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because
we're still back at the fact that it's the woman's body.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
They're more medically invested. Yeah,
100%.
I get it. Yep, absolutely.
100%. And I also think, it's the conversation of taking a breath and pausing for a second and having more conversations about it and giving the facts and the options. And I'm not saying that this isn't done I'm not saying that this is not what is already being done, but this whole idea that, the counselors and the options and just, did you want to take some more time and just have a conversation with everybody involved to see if there's a place that they can come to collectively as a group. And then if they can't, then maybe it falls onto the woman because she is the one that is, like Susan was saying, the most medically invested.
Bernie again, and not all men think as a group. People think as individuals. Each person's. Yeah, I agree with you, and I definitely think it's a case by case basis. I'm just curious what some men think. I've never actually asked men, and so now I'm asking men what they think. Sarah, my mom had an abortion when she was a teenager after being assaulted. I wouldn't be here if she had had that baby. Nuance. Fair.
Individual.
It's again, like Bernie
It's
said,
literally
yeah,
one
it's one
person
person
at
at
a
a time.
time. It's one situation at a time. And I think that this is a reminder between all the comments that we've seen and all of the conversation that we've had about this is that most things are on an individual basis.
Yeah.
And they should be. And I think that that is what we should be able to have.
And most notably, like going back to what Susan said, I think women have to understand what like the consequence, like what if you have sex, you can get pregnant. And then men have to understand and take accountability for the fact that if you get a woman pregnant, you are now responsible and you're now at the mercy of what that woman wants to do and, you know, her decisions,
Yeah.
basically.
That's exactly what he's saying. Matt Souza, also, nobody goes through this situation without consequences. Adoption, abortion, and having the child all have their unique sets of consequences.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. If there's anything else, yeah, Jonathan Ortega, it's all situation based. Yep. I agree.
For sure.
Kenneth, haven't been in the situation, so couldn't tell you for certain, but I would think I would always feel like something was missing for me. That's what most women say. So yeah, fair.
The same way that I say that women that are surrogates, I give them a lot of credit. I personally would not be able to carry a baby and not get attached to it. So women that choose to be a surrogate for other families or choose to give their babies up for adoption, like my heart goes to them because for me, like I've carried our son. I know how that feels. I don't believe for myself that I would ever be able to carry someone else's baby and not keep it as my own. But that's me.
Okay, so Lupe, I was gonna move on, but forget it. Lupe, I as a man think I shouldn't tell a woman what she should do. I'll be involved in the conversation, but final say goes to her. So I just wonder because men and women converse differently. So as a man in the conversation, are you gonna tell like if you want this baby, are you gonna be like, hey, I really want this baby. I know if you don't want this baby, I will take on all the responsibilities that this baby need. Like, can you like express that? Or is it just going to be a conversation that's just going to be like, whatever you want to do, babe, I'm here for you. But you're secretly wishing that she has this baby and you can take care of it. Just like legit, just curiosity. I just want to know how men think. That's all. Ken Walters. Oh yeah. No, we haven't gotten to that yet. We've been in here doing this right now. Ken Walters.
Y'all have been talking with us about this.
I know. It's been cool.
We
were close to moving on. Sorry, getting there. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go. Yeah.
But Lupe just answered. Yeah, I'd lay that out. We can move on though. But no,
Okay,
it's honestly something that like we were curious about because I think that what you're saying is that conversations are great, but at the end of the day, no matter what the decision is, somebody gets the final say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we can talk about our son's circumcision. I was very adamant about that from the beginning. You were not. We talked about it. And at the end of the day, the final decision, he is circumcised. So at the end of the day, somebody has to make the final decision. And I think for us, we were able to talk about it enough to where there wasn't any other feelings about that. Not saying that's the same extreme as something like this, but it is a conversation that can be had. But at the end of the day, somebody gets the final say and the other person might not be okay with it. And that's the difficult part about a situation like this is that you may not get the final say. And then you personally, like Susan was saying, have to deal with the consequences of the final decision that maybe you didn't agree with. So that's a grieving process, and that's a whole process, healing process that you have to go through versus the very different process that a woman would have to go through, for instance. So that's why it's such a touchy subject.
Oh, P.S. Our son just walked in on us the other night after we had just had sex. How do you deal with that? What happens? Because he walked into the room and like the covers were up or whatever, but it was very.
Oh, wow. My face is so red.
It was very noticeable that we didn't have shirts on. And so he's like, why are you naked? And we were like, because it's hot. Like it's really humid and really hot. And he's like, what does humid mean?
Oh my gosh.
I said steamy. And he said, what does steamy mean? And I said, hot, get out. Like, what do you mean? Just get out. Like,
oh my God.
Seven's about that age though. I don't know if it's like seven's about that age and it was weird because he's never been up late at night, but he was up late at night. Like it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do at that point? Like,
yes, asymmetrical ears. Up to minutes earlier could have been a whole.
It would have been a whole different fucking conversation. Like legit, whole different conversation.
Steamy.
What other word do I have? Like, wrestling. Sure.
Wrestling?
Yeah.
I don't know if we could say that because then he would just start taking his clothes off and start wrestling.
Yeah. Our kid's on the spectrum. He takes things a little literally, so I'm not absolutely sure.
Helping Ben there is not any better when they know
like
the humid card. Well played.
Thank you, Bernie Gannon. Yeah, I was like, you're gonna have to look that up on the weather tomorrow. I don't know. But yeah, that was like the weirdest thing that happened to us this weekend.
Gosh.
And we never thought. Because he's a
yes, kind of. Thank you.
You were just loving on each other. Yeah. Because he's a good sleeper. Like this dude does not wake up. It could be, that's good. Go-Wad sesh. Yeah. He knows what Go-Wad is. So yeah. Stephen Flores.
Mobility. Mobility.
Fire. That's fire. I'm absolutely, if we ever get caught again, I'm absolutely using that. Yes,
mobility.
For sure. All right, segue. Joe Biden. So it's been brought up that he is going to step down. Don't know if, like, I just caught it on World Star.
The New York Post has it too, and I think he made an actual statement about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't make it any bigger than it is because I don't know. Pause. But today, fellow Americans, today America is the strongest economy. He goes on to blow himself a little bit. And then he's like, I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame the pandemic, worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved democracy. Blah, 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 blah. It was the greatest honor of my life to be your president. While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express the deepest gratitude. Blah. And I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work, and let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have put in me. Blah, 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 United States of America, Joe Biden. So, I don't know. I knew it was going to happen. We talked about this with Taylor. Who are they going to put her with? Anybody know?
That's not the one I wanted.
Who? Oh, Kamala's talking now? Where? On what?
It just, no, it says Kamala's taking the spot now.
Oh, well, yeah, because they can't get rid of that war chest, right, Bernie? We talked about this. It's like a 200-something million war chest. Bernie Gannon, does anyone really believe he wrote that message himself? Yeah, right. Who are they going to put him with? We tried to talk about this with Taylor. We agreed.
I said Newsom.
Gavin, dude, we talked about that too.
People are saying Hillary.
Is it really? It's Big Mike and Hillary? Because I don't know. Didn't that say Biden will not endorse her?
No, if you're talking about Harris, it says that he already has.
Yeah,
I've seen that he already has.
Yeah. And again,
And
I'll go back to Bernie. I don't think he actually wrote that. I'm pretty sure people are writing shit for him at this point.
And all of the big Hollywood stars are getting behind her already.
But
her pictures, of course they are together and whatever.
Of course they are, because they're all into like, grooming children and all kinds of shit and Nickelodeon and whatever. But who are they gonna? I don't get who they're gonna put with her, because not even the most liberal people in New York like Gavin Newsom. They all I have not talked to one liberal person that I've been friends with that like Gavin Newsom. They don't like him worse than anybody else. So I don't know who they're gonna helping. The Obamas did not specifically endorse Kamala today in their statement. Okay. If it's either Hillary or Big Mike, she will be a puppet like Joe was. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's all still going to be Biden run, no matter who they put in there. So RFK, nobody's talking about RFK. I wish they would talk about RFK, but nobody, after the whole like worm in the brain thing, like no one's talking about him anymore. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, they're naming a lot of, I heard some stuff. They're naming a lot of like liberal or Democratic, like female, like black female Democrats that they want to put with Kamala, but that's not going to beat Trump at all. So,
well, do you think she started? Because I mean, one of the other big questions that we've seen a lot is, where has she been? Like, you haven't really seen much of her in his presidency and her vice presidency.
Yeah, where's the? Oh man, can I find this? Who did I send this to?
It was like all of a sudden she came out of nowhere and she's showing up everywhere. Do you feel like this might have been a thing that they already had in place for her to take over? Because
this was fucking hysterical. If I can find this right now, this was the greatest shit ever. Oh man, God, she showed up. Oh really?
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Where where Kamala shows up at who did I send? Did I send it to you?
I think so.
If you can find it, she showed up at the USA basketball team's fucking practice and just walked in, and like all of the dudes were like, "Why are you here?" Like it was.
Oh my God, that was so long ago. I don't know if
it was so good.
I'll see if I can find
damn, like, and it literally was like, where have you been? No one's seen you. No one knows who you are. No one cares who you are. And she walked in there like she even knew what basketball was, but she also thought that there was no like, Final Four brackets for women's basketball. Oh, okay, Kenneth, you saw that too. Yeah, it was hysterical. I don't know who I sent it to, but it was funny.
You sent it to me, but you sent it to me a long
time. I know.
I'm looking at it right now. See if I can.
But it was just, she's just a freaking mess. And then she was on that commercial with Taraji B. Henson, where she was talking about, I'm out here in these streets, as if she even knows what that means. Which I was like, what streets are you out here in?
No, I can't find it.
But I can't imagine that that's going to be the ticket. I would assume that they would have to try Gavin Newsom, but I'm not worried about that either, because asymmetric years. It's became clear stealing the election with Biden would have fooled nobody. As a result, with anyone else, they can still pull off what they're good at. I don't know. Democrats are out here like yelling about the Supreme Court right now, because they think that if the Supreme Court gets what they want and Trump win or Biden or the Democratic ticket wins, that the Supreme Court can just overturn that and make it so that Trump wins. So they're all out here yelling about the Supreme Court right now. Kenneth Lap, I've been out in these streets and she doesn't know what that means. All right. The last thing I wanted to talk about was, and I know Taylor, I'm sorry, you've waited a very long time, but we had Taylor on the show the other night. And I swear to God, I haven't heard this word since the 90s, but we actually had our first caller on that show. And I don't know, it got heated. He said a lot of things that Newsom is too tactical to play to lose. Look for him in 2028. All right, fair. Yeah. Okay. So he probably won't even agree to it, is what you're saying. And Taylor came on the show and we were having a very nice conversation. We were discussing January 6th and the most like professional.
And we were talking about abortion.
And we were talking about abortion again. And it was the most like cool, chill conversation. I asked Taylor questions. He asked me questions. We got to talk about it like reasonable human beings. Then I get my first phone call. And I don't know who this is. And he's just on here yelling about how Trump's dead. And it's some weird dude, what was Nicholas Fuentes or something, some radical right wing, whatever.
So I looked him up and shared, and I was
like, oh. It was crazy, dude. And so Taylor,
you started to ask questions.
I just wanted to know because he was like something about the Jews and
Trump's out because he picked the Jews
because he's for
like
the Jews, or the Jews are for Trump or something like that.
And you went to ask the question.
I was like, hey, what did the Jews do? And then Taylor said probably the most minimal thing he could say, which was like, dude, you sound like a retard. And then this guy's like, you sound like a hard F word, the gay slur. And I was like, man, we're 1999 this guy. Like even the chat was like 1999 this guy. And I was like, wow.
So man, we experienced our first call-in.
Like, thank God for Papa Birch who called after that to kind of like relax the scenario. But
he just hung out on the phone line for a little bit. And
I was like, damn. I mean, it's burning in, and that crazy caller was totally defeated when his candidate was unknown. I had no idea who the fuck he was talking about.
No.
I was like, where are you going with this?
No, and he kept just saying his name, and like,
I don't think did Taylor know? I don't even think Taylor knew who he was talking about.
But just wanting to ask more questions, like follow-up questions about it, and then it just went left.
Yeah, it was really crazy. Left. Yeah, the Jews, Kenneth Lapp, the Jews shot Trump is what he said. Yeah, it was weird. And I was gonna talk to him, and I was trying to bring it down and just have him ask questions. And then Taylor was over it, and he's like, you sound like a retard. And he was like, you sound like a faggot. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this call's over. Bam. And then Chase is like, yo, Taylor just got called the hard F word. I was like, yeah, he did use the hard F word. What is happening right now? So,
but no, we weren't having that. So
yeah, we're getting there.
But Taylor can still come hang out with us.
Yeah, so absolutely. Cool. Like, it's no, it wasn't. Like, yeah, he called me afterward. I was like, dude, it wasn't your fault. I don't know how he found us.
It's all cool. It's all cool.
But you don't know this chat. Like, if you don't know where you're at, bro.
No, and we had someone else pop up the other day or whatever, just in the chat, because our phone line wasn't working. And Vindicate and Kenneth and who else was in there? I think Bernie was in there.
Birch was in there.
Birch was in there. And literally what they were saying was, is this your first time here? You need to relax. Because they were like, going crazy.
You don't know this chat and we don't know you. And I was like,
it's like, who are you?
You're fucking right. You don't know this chat. You have no idea how this chat rolls. You better get in line, bro.
So she felt very, I was like, very Sevan-esque.
I was like,
oh, I got a chat that's got my back.
Listen,
and whatever. And
it's super cool what you guys do. And I always appreciate you. I always appreciate you coming to hang out on Instagram, on our podcast. It's really, really, really cool what you guys do all the time.
New York.
Thomas. Yeah, we're in New York. Thomas Graves.
Yep, New York.
But yeah, we always.
You guys are always so welcoming when we come on here. You know, when Sevan gives us the keys.
I know, it's kind of cool. Oh, did we not tell you how that happened either? So like, I had no idea that Sevan didn't have a show this morning. Like, I was just assuming I was going to get out of work like I always do on Sunday and get to watch Sevan's show. And then all of us, like, I'm in the deli. Like I'm fucking balls deep in mayonnaise and fucking bacon and Clorox and like American cheese.
I'm not even home, by the way.
Yeah, she's not even home. She's out with the baby somewhere. And I look at my phone, like the one bathroom break I had, I look at it and it's Sevon. He's like, hey, should have texted you a while ago, but do you want to go live on my show today? And I'm looking at the time. It's like 12:10. I'm like, shouldn't your show be over? How is your show still on? And
well, hold on. This is a very important question.
Bodega? What the fuck is a deli? It's a bougie bodega. So like, it's like a rich people bodega. I don't know, but same shit. I assumed you guys were taking over the show this morning. Yeah, I didn't. I had no idea. No one told me.
Thank you, Thomas. We appreciate
you. Yeah, I had no fucking idea. I went to work like I always do. And then
but Kenneth, you're not the only one. Who else reached out to?
Oh, Jody texted me.
Yeah, and was like,
and I didn't even see it because I was at work, and she's like, it was like 9:00 when she texted me. She's
so
like,
we're glad y'all knew, but
yeah,
we didn't know.
Appreciate you.
We weren't asked yet.
That sounds very stripper-esque, but yeah, we are literally actually on the corner of a street next to a gas station, so you're not wrong.
You've never heard it be called the corner store before?
No. It sounds like there's like hookers outside. Like I don't.
So bougie.
I'm so bougie. I don't know. I grew up here.
I know.
I don't know what to tell you. It's not a fucking corner store.
But it's funny. I haven't heard bodega in a very long time.
But we are on the corner and we are next to a gas station.
Yes,
so fair.
So we do hang out on the corner if that's what you're asking. Yes.
So I'm on the toilet and I'm looking at my phone.
Oh, I just had a moment.
And I see.
Wait, they might like this. I don't know if Jake Chapman and Pooh Boy are still in here. This might be one of the most raunchiest comments I ever say.
Oh,
that yes, we are on the corner selling meat.
Roast beef, baby, rare.
Oh man.
But yeah.
No, that doesn't mean I want to still come. That does not mean. Oh, here's Jan. Jan, that does not mean that I want to come hang out with you guys on Chat Appreciation. No thanks.
Yeah, no. It would just be us. Meat managers. I'm the meat manager. Thank you. Appreciate you. But yeah, and so I messaged him back. I'm like, I pretended like I thought he messaged me in that moment because I thought he had messaged me way earlier and I didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, yeah, sure. What time? Because I don't get out of work till 3. And he is like, yeah, whenever you can. Super grateful. And I was like, oh, I get to just
decide
do everything. Like I get to just put up everything. Like awesome. So yeah, super fun. It was a great week.
I always love coming to hang out. So thanks for that opportunity.
Oh, let me not forget to do the thing. I always want to do this. Point up to the Fit Aid thing. 40% off Fit Aid. Scan that code. Methusian powder over some.
Nope.
There. Methusian powder. Go make your smile bright. Paper Sheet Coffee. Hope you're coming on my show soon. Yeah. I'll text you soon.
Vindicate is down here.
Yeah, Vindicate. Hit that. Get all these fresh ass shirts.
Swag.
Yep. BIRTHFIT. We already had our baby, but go learn how to have a baby the natural way and be super safe and whatever. Jan, I can't stay on, bro.
No, we've been on for like an hour.
We've been on for a minute, dude. What else do you want to talk about?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about? Ask us a question.
Are we just going to talk about dicks now? We're supposed to save this for next week. And then California peptides. Get strong. Again. Gary and Colleen not doing anything wrong, hanging on the corner.
It's just
just human out. Fire.
Very humid. It's very humid.
It's very, very humid. And it's going to be very, very humid tonight too, bro. Fair.
Oh my gosh.
Shit. Yeah. So what do we have in the works? We got stuck on what?
Bye, Matthew. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh, Matthew, DM me. Please DM me, Matthew, wherever you are, dude. Oh, look at me begging for dick again.
Wow. Woo.
Thanks for the chat. See you later. Yeah, DM me. Please DM me because I don't know where your Instagram is. We got stuck on what? Schmuthin for so long. I don't know.
I don't know what that is either.
I don't know what it is either, but you cool. Thanks, Matthew. Yeah, guys, it was super cool. I appreciate you. I always appreciate all.
No, Jan. No. The answer is no.
Okay, the 28th, we'll bring it. Colleen is on.
The
Yeah.
answer is
okay,
no.
so we're having the Chat Appreciation Show next Sunday, the 28th, at around this time.
And I will not be on the camera.
But she will be laughing in the background.
No, I can't do that, I guess. Because you can actually really hear me. I didn't think you could hear me.
Dude, you're so loud.
Until we did the reel, when I cut the reel, and then Kenneth was like, oh my God, I love hearing Colleen laughing in the background. I'm like, you can't hear me. And I actually put the phone up to my ear and I can hear myself laughing. So I'm gonna have to go watch it in the other room and not even hang out here.
So we're doing that. No, you have to stay in here with me. You're my emotional support person thing. It's what's left of my liberal. Kenneth.
I guess it still feels like I'm there even though I'm not on the screen.
So yeah, we're doing that. And then we have Homegrown Relief is coming on to chat with us, have a really good conversation on Thursday. We got Seth Jump Ship on our show on Wednesday. So that's going to be super fun. I feel like that'll almost be kind of like a chat appreciation situation as well. So
you're right, Jan.
Laughing in the background validates us for sure.
You're right.
Yeah. And Carl. Yes, Kenneth, Carl. Thomas Graves coming to New York to get a sandwich. Stop in anytime. I'll buy you lunch. No problem. Anybody else too. If chat's in Southampton, come get some food. I'm here for you. So yeah, having a good weekend. We're gonna have a good couple podcasts after this. Can't wait to see what Sevon does.
Yeah, and I mean, we know everybody's gearing up for the games or whatever, but I saw Ellie in here earlier. Our girl, we love her to death. Her and Tucker.
Who you called Tucker the fucker, but we have renamed Dreadlift.
Yes, so he can share that information with his kid.
Yes. And Jason CF
Media are going to come on and just talk about CrossFit around the CrossFit Games to have that. But I know like everybody's going to be doing that. We just want to bring,
we're just going to have some fun
and have fun and
Dreadlift.
Yeah, he's awesome. And
he's super cool with his 5 kids
to do that. And
so yeah, we're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
And then everybody else, we got to talk to, like I DM'd Shelby Neal. So hopefully we'll get her after the games.
And I also surprised my wife. I reached out to somebody, and after the games, we will have the honor and privilege to meet and talk to Mr. Adrian Conway, which I'm so very excited about. But that will be later after the games. Everybody's gearing up for the games. So very, very cool.
So super awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We all love Sevon. We all love the Sevon verse. We all love the drama, the fire, the, random dick talk. It's amazing.
Yeah. And thank you guys for just having the conversation with us in the chat. It means a lot to us. This is important for us and something that we're both very passionate about. It's just having continued conversations to bring up different perspectives and, just to have that conversation, and it's all good.
Hogs all day. Janelle Winston. Yeah, girl. Show up. Jody Lynn, thanks for texting me this morning and reminding me of stuff. Love you. Janelle Winston, Hogs All Day is next Sunday because it'll be Sevon's show. And then
we are family. We love you.
Yeah, it's fire. Being part of this is really cool.
This is what about the world's strongest man? Oh,
I'll have to look. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. That'll be an interesting
That'll
conversation.
Be cool.
Yeah. I have been trying to reach out. I haven't gotten any responses yet. But I have been trying to reach out to different autism Instagram pages that I found to try to connect with more moms. About a year ago, I did a series called The True Stories of a Mother, where I had a bunch of moms come on and just talk about moms. I might bring that back to just have different perspectives from a mother's point of view. So we've got some ideas. We've got some things coming up, but it is crazy summertime. So with our kid home and, our jobs and stuff like that, but we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up for you guys. And we just appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Yeah, we really do. It's fun. It's you guys are the most awesome part of the Sevonverse. So thanks for chilling with us, Brittany, again, in good faith, honest conversations, even when opinions and beliefs differ. Nothing but love, baby.
Love.
Peace and love. Just think this all started from Garrett live call into Sevi a couple of years ago. Yeah, fair. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.